Boom. Bourbon Spartan, what's up, man? Just jumping those live streams. Liquorlands, Bourbon Runner, hey, thanks for joining. OKC Food Eater, good to see you. Resident of the South, Beer Bourbon Barbecue. Tyler, what's going on, man? John Barr. I know it's late for you, man. I appreciate you coming on here. K-Town, VFL, Allen, hey, man, what's going on? Bourbon Chief, Cash Car. Leaving. Are you leaving? Resident of the South. All right, man, I'll do my best. Unfortunately, we're not making a whiskey cocktail tonight. We're going to be doing an old fashioned. Or, I'm sorry, we're doing a Long Island iced tea. Yeah, 4 grain, man. I love 4 grain. So, for the record, my 4 grain is gone. So, I bought it and I drank it. I did sample it out, so I probably pulled 4 samples of that. So it's a good 8 ounces of that bottle that I pulled out of that to send off to some deserving folks that wanted to try it. But yeah, I drank it all, man. It was super good. Roland, what's going on, man? Yeah, we're making a Long Island iced tea. I am YNJUH. I don't know how to say that. Sorry, man. I think Barrels of Mash, what's going on? Hashtag lit Long Island iced tea. That's awesome. Brent TW, what's up? I think Barrels and Mash might have a lead on me getting another 4 grain though. So I'm excited about that. We're gonna have to make out a deal. I'm dead serious, Chris, about my peerless deal that I said. Tyler. But yeah, I thought 4 grain was fantastic. Dad's drinking bourbon. Welcome, man. I'm so glad. These guys did me a huge solid. They're way more important and cooler than me. And they absolutely, pumped me up and told everyone to come over here and jump on. And I'm excited to show you guys a cocktail tonight as we build this Long Island iced tea. Brent TW, aloha from Hawaii. Aloha, man. There's a rum actually out in Hawaii that I have my eye on. You might have to hit me up. We can talk about it. Bourbon Finder, welcome. All right, so we got a lot of people on here. I'm just going to get started. So here's the deal. Always, once I get you guys mounted up, I am not going to be able to see the comments, but you guys are going to be able to see each other's comments. So feel free to talk to each other, and I will go and scroll through and answer any questions at the end that you guys have. But we are going to be building a Long Island iced tea tonight. Barrel Proof Flies, what's up, man? Baku rum, I have not had that, man. I'm gonna have to do it. All right. So, here's the deal. So we all have that friend that likes to come over. They want a cocktail, but they don't really know what cocktail they want. And they just say, just make me a Long Island iced tea. Or you have that kind of rough old uncle that comes by that just wants a Long Island iced tea. And the Long Island iced tea is probably the worst. It's like the worst thing that you could build yourself because it just mixes so much stuff. So it's kind of like just a really sloppy way to make a drink that tastes okay and then get you wasted. Tonight, though, we are going to be elevating that cocktail. So we are going to be completely putting a twist on the Long Island iced tea. And as you can see, I'm still going down the gamut of everything that we have here. But I guarantee you this Long Island iced tea that we're building tonight is going to taste exceptional. And there's 2 things that are really going to make it stand out. Besides sort of the quality of ingredients that we're using tonight, it's going to be that simple syrup. So making sure that you're making your own homemade simple syrup. This is a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning that it has 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. So it's a little bit sweeter. I used a Demerara sugar. That's why it's dark. And so it's going to have almost like a rich molasses characteristic to it. And then the second is we're using fresh juice. So we're using lemon juice instead of that nasty sour mix that everyone buys and tends to put into, a lot of cocktails. And these 2 ingredients right here, these are really going to set off this drink tonight. I mean, there's other things too, like we're gonna be putting in Cointreau, and Cointreau adds a nice flavor to it as well. But without further ado, we're just gonna walk through and we're gonna build this up. So first things first is I'm gonna go ahead and juice my lemon. We'll start with the citrus. I am gonna use this lemon peel as my garnish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut my garnish first off my lemon peel so I don't have to use a different lemon. And once you juice a lemon, it's almost impossible to get any kind of the peel off of it after that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get my garnish now, and then I'll set that aside. All right, so now that I got my garnish, let's go ahead and let's juice our lemon. So this Long Island iced tea is gonna call for 3/4 ounce of lemon. So I'm gonna go ahead and get 3/4 ounce of lemon. So we got that going here. It's my 3/4 ounce. And then it's going to call for a lot of booze. Now, here's the deal. Because we're doing a Long Island iced tea and we're kind of elevating it, I'm not gonna be doing 1 ounce of everything in here. I'm actually gonna be doing 1/2 ounce of everything in here. So what you're gonna get is actually a very tolerable drink. It's gonna have probably, 2.5 ounces total in it, and most of these are 40 proof. So it's not gonna be like an overwhelmingly strong drink at the end of the day. So you can actually sit back, enjoy this, and even have, room for another cocktail. But I'm gonna work down the line. So everything is gonna be a 1/2 ounce. So I'm gonna start with a 1/2 ounce of vodka. One of my favorite vodkas that's out there is Titos vodka. I'm not using that tonight. I'm using a local vodka. This is made out in San Francisco. For the whiskey folks that are out there, they do some cool stuff. I'll show you real quick actually. So they do like whip nose. They do some other ones. Fluctuate's another one, but they're 7 stills. But because I have a lot of whiskey folks on here, I'll show you. And so this is one of their bottles. This is Dog Patch. So they come in the 375 milliliter bottles, gorgeous bottles. But they're out in San Francisco. And what these guys do is they actually take beer and from other breweries and stuff like that, and they distill the beer and they put their own little twist on the whiskey. So very unique flavor profiles in these. None of them are the same. They're all a little bit different, but a lot of fun. And that's the vodka I'm using. Next, I'm going down the line. I'm gonna use a gin, call for 1/2 ounce of gin. Gin wise, I'm gonna say you wanna go with more of a drier gin. So I'm using a Tanqueray. It's just a, run-of-the-mill, really dry gin. And then we're up to the tequila. Now, there's one thing that I don't skimp on if I'm mixing with tequila, and that's the tequila. So probably my most expensive bottle of everything that's out here is gonna be this tequila, and it was still under $45. But I'm using, this is Don Pilar Blanco. I'm a big Don Pilar fan. I like their Añejo, the Reposado. But this right here, this is gonna have a very sweet upfront taste if you drink it by itself, and then it has a nice earthy finish. And so it's just a really good, well-rounded Blanco. If you wanna go even more inexpensive and still have a quality one, El Jimador makes a great one, and then also Espolon. Espolon is probably one of my other favorite Blancos, and that one is sub $20, I believe. So next, we're moving on to our rum. So I'm using Papas Pilar. This is a white rum. It has a little bit of color to it because they age it in Solera casks for a little bit. It just adds a little bit more sweetness to it. But this is just a great rum by itself, but also because it has that sweetness, it's just gonna add to the complexity of this Long Island iced tea. So we're gonna do a 1/2 ounce of this. And then finally, our last 2 ingredients, we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of the Cointreau. This is good stuff. This is the way to make margaritas, if you're gonna make margaritas. 1/2 ounce of this. And then finally, we'll add our simple syrup. Once again, 2-to-1 ratio. This is a Demerara syrup that we did. So it's really rich. Oh man, it smells good. And we're gonna do just a little bit more than a 1/4 ounce. So not quite halfway between the 1/4 ounce and the 1/2 ounce, but just a smidge over a 1/4 ounce, or 2 teaspoons, I guess you would say, in there. And then once we have that, all we have to do now is add ice and shake. I'm being lazy tonight, so this calls for crushed ice. So I already have my crushed ice. but instead of actually using regular ice, shaking, straining, and then adding crushed ice, I'm actually just gonna add crushed ice to it. I'm gonna shake it and I'm gonna dump everything into the glass just because it's easier. So I'm not gonna put a ton of crushed ice in here. I'm just gonna put enough so that I can get some dilution and also chill it down. And then we'll go ahead and put it in the glass. All right, my glass over here. Let's go ahead and pour this in. And then we're gonna add a ton of crushed ice to this. And I know a few of you, I think, are following me along at home in building this cocktail. And I can't wait to hear what you think of it. And then the last thing that we need to do on this is we're gonna add Coke. So go ahead and get your Coke. So it actually calls for about 3/4 ounces. I like just a little bit more than 3/4 ounces, so I'm gonna go just over the 3/4 ounce mark, not quite 1 ounce. And we're just gonna go ahead and pour that over the top. And we should have some nice separation of the color and dilution there. And I'll go ahead and add my straw. And then last, we'll go ahead and add my garnish. And there you have it, folks. An elevated Long Island iced tea. Here we go. Yeah, that's where it's at. There's almost a creaminess to it because you're using the fresh juice and you're using that really rich simple syrup. So what you get initially is you get almost that kind of like tea taste because you have a lot of the different alcohols that are mixed there, but then it really has a nice pop of sweet tart and then just a really creamy finish. I mean, overall, if you told somebody that this is a Long Island iced tea, any Long Island iced tea that they've had in the past and they drink this is night and day. Oh man, that fresh citrus sets it off. All right, I'm gonna go and grab the phone, answer any questions that you guys have, see what's been going on. All right, a little behind the scenes. Bourbon Spartan, how'd I do? All right, let's go back. Give you guys a little close-up of the drink. Lossful, what's up, man? I know, I think I shouldn't say who was winning, but I did check it. Robbie, what's going on? How you seeing? Good to see you on here, buddy. No sour mix tonight. You know, the Preds made it. I'm really excited to see who is playing against the Preds. We might already know. I just haven't looked. Paul, what's up, man? Sapphire is a great rum. Wait, the face that he pours from the side of his measuring cup rather than the pour spout? Oh, because I don't, because I'm not using the lip on it and I pour out the side. I always pour it out the side. I almost never poured out the pour spout. That's funny. Long Island iced tea was a drink that a lot of us had that just did not, it did not help us make good choices throughout the rest of the night, and we woke up the next morning not feeling so well. All right, so Chris, you made it. So the tequila's standing out for you. So I forget what tequila you were using. But yeah, the tequila will make a huge difference in this drink. Tequila, so let's see. So tequila is a very dominant spirit in flavor profile. So the next dominant next to tequila is probably going to be gin in regards to what's going to come through. So that's where I really paused on, the tequila aspect of it, because that tequila really will make or break it at the end of the day in regards to really getting a good overall balance between your spirits. But if you're using the El Jimador, yeah, El Jimador is a good one. The thing with El Jimador, like, I would encourage you to try it by itself right now. And probably what you're gonna notice when you try it by itself is there's almost no sweetness to it. And that a majority of it is gonna just be kind of that earthy tone taste that you get in tequila. And so because you have, no contrasting flavors in that tequila, then instead of doing a half an ounce, I would have dialed it back just a smidge. So I would have maybe done, just under a half ounce. Yeah, super earthy. And that's what's gonna come through. That earthiness is gonna just go up against that Tanqueray or that gin that you're using. So if you also have a gin that has a lot of earthiness to it too, or that pine in it, then what's gonna happen is those things are gonna just basically draw to each other, and then that's gonna really, be a dominant taste in there. So one thing you could do is, instead of using, the rum that you're using, that Red Nephew rum that also has a very agricole taste to it, it's not super sweet, go back and make this Long Island iced tea, but grab a sweeter rum, a much sweeter rum. I'm not resident of the South, I'm not in Tennessee. I'm in California. That's why it's 7 o'clock here, but it's late for everybody out there. Zaya would be perfect, because Zaya is gonna have a lot of vanilla, caramel, and that's gonna really help balance it out. I don't know what your gin is either, so it's hard to say. Ronzacappa is delicious. I'm super excited. My bourbon fairy that gets me a lot of my stuff, that he shall remain nameless and unknown. He went on the hunt. I was looking for Zaya. I wanted some Zaya that was pre-2006. So 2006 or earlier. There's a big difference. They were sourcing from Trinidad most recently. And so the ones before that were before they got bought by, I think they're Diageo bought them. So before that, they were sourcing from their rum from a different place. And that rum is incredible if you can get it, find one on the shelf. I'll post a picture of it once I get it. But man, talk about just a vanilla caramel bomb. It's just delicious. People RB, what's up, man? Robbie, are you really coming over? Do it, man. I'll make you one. I had to keep it out because Brooke's coming back later too, and she told me to keep it out. So I'll have the bar ready to go. Loyal Gin is floral and peppery with gunpowder green tea vibes. Okay, so then it's definitely not a dry gin. So, yeah, you have a few things combating you. So you have earthy, and then sort of floral, peppery, and you don't really have anything that's really bringing out the sweetness in it. So what you could do is I would change your rum out and go to the Zaya, and then I'd probably add a half ounce of Simple, and then I would do a full ounce of Coke, and you're probably gonna get a more balanced drink than what you have going on right now. This is probably the best thing about cocktails and building cocktails, is it really is all about your own personal taste profile and then dialing it in. And the cool thing is that the more you make cocktails, the more you start to realize what you like, and then you can start to mess around and do it. Yep, more Coke, perfect. John Barr, E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof. So, here. So I was going to, so I have my barrel proofs in here. I want to say I have 2 or 3 open right now. And I'm actually looking to do a lineup of all my Elijah Craig barrel proofs, or the ones I have open, so 3 or 4 of them. And then I want to do a flight, and I want to taste them all side by side and see where they're at. But I'll tell you, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof is one of those ones where I open it, I enjoy it when I open it, but I tend to make myself forget about it. That meaning I purposefully don't go back to it after it gets to about halfway for quite a few months, because airtime just absolutely does Elijah Craig Barrel Proof just a world of wonders. It just really mellows it out. Tyler, what was your question? I didn't see it. Ask it again. I didn't see it, man. I guys figure you guys would rather see my shelf than me. What do you guys want to see next week? Next week I was thinking about doing a blue Hawaiian. So let me give credit to this Long Island iced tea. So Jeffrey Morganthaler, you guys will probably start to soon see a theme. So Jeffrey Morgan is a bartender out of Portland, and I'm a big fan of his. And what he really specializes in is he takes some of those cocktails that were just absolutely disgusting in the past and known to be disgusting, and he reinvents them to make them taste good. So I've done his amaretto sour one week, and then this is his Long Island iced tea recipe. I changed a couple things in it, like he calls for specific spirits that I changed out, but for the most part I'm following it pretty much to the T. And then he does a Hawaiian, like a blue Hawaiian, which is that classic one, and it's good. It tastes like the pineapple gummy bears. If I could drink any bourbon right now, what would it be? Anything. I know what you want me to say. You want me to say Joseph Magnus, but I'll tell you what. It's there's a bottle right here that, bam, is absolutely outstanding. So as you can see where that bottle's at, I opened this yesterday. I might have made a bad choice last night in how much I drank of this, but it was just absolutely amazing. But I will say that Joseph Magnus is delicious, and Rivera sent me a sample. I think he's on, and I had the cigar blend, and it was absolutely outstanding. I even looked up where I could get a couple bottles of it, and I am very tempted to make a deal and try to see if I can bring a Joseph Magnus home. But man, it's good. Beercraft 71, thank you. Appreciate it. Many years of collecting, many years. And I see the, whoop. This is all the spirits. Kind of a mess right now. I have stuff on the floor. All the stuff I have on the floor are things that I'm getting ready to ship out to some friends and folks out there. All right, any other questions out there? Anything else going on? You guys cool with a blue Hawaiian next week? Marcus did an old fashioned a couple weeks ago. So if you go to my profile, I have a link in there, and it goes to YouTube. I record or I save all of these. And so you can go back and you can watch it. We actually did a smoked old fashioned. So we took a cedar plank and then we lit it on fire and we put the glass over it to snuff it out. And then, yeah, we did it. What's a blue Hawaiian? So a blue Hawaiian is like, it's kind of like a tropical cocktail. So it has, what makes it blue here? What makes it blue is this. So it's a Curacao liqueur. It's blue, obviously, and that's what makes it blue. But this comes in different colors because it's dyed, of course. You can get red, you can get yellow, or you can get clear without any dyes in it. But it's more of a tropical drink, so it's rum-based. There's a rum, there's this Curacao, sweetener. You actually have to make a pineapple syrup for it, so it calls for that. It's a fun cocktail. Or if you have something else that you want to see, just let me know. Happy to do it. Blue Curacao is one of those ones where, yes, people have gotten in trouble drinking that because it's super sweet and it's good, and you make bad choices. You drink too much of it because you don't know any better. Ricky YXC, what's up? You're out on blue anything. I can get non-dyed. All right, fine. I won't make a blue Hawaiian next week. Jeez. Maybe I'll just go live and drink bourbons. It'd get boring though. Gosh dang, that is so good. Blue's Clues. I haven't seen that. The kids are older now. I haven't seen that in forever. All right, guys. So I appreciate everyone joining. Dad's drinking bourbon. I appreciate you sending everybody over my way after you guys were going through some awesome bourbons tonight. Bonin, what's up, man? Go live and rant about bourbon. Oh, my rants. No, I'm not gonna rant tonight. Things are pretty under control in the realm of things. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of. I showed some people this last week, so if you're wondering what's in here. So these are all the blends. So as you can see, I've gotten through a lot of them. So I think I have like 3 more flights left in the Excel spreadsheet of the blends that I'm doing, and we'll be able to map these out and get things going. You know what I want to do? I'm going to do a mezcal drink next week. You guys need to be introduced to mezcal. Mezcal is absolutely fantastic. It's delicious. Mezcal is a tasty treat. Barrel Proof Flies, thanks for joining, man. Blend taste test live? No, maybe. When it's super nerdy. I have like a spreadsheet out. I'm smelling them, smelling myself. So I'll give you a little tip, and I read this in one of the bourbon books somewhere. But when it comes to, yes, mezcal rocks. When it comes to when you're nosing bourbon, you know, some people say hold your mouth open. Let me get a glass. All right. So when you're nosing bourbon, you know, you want to get your nose in there. You want to keep your mouth open a little bit when you're breathing in, but you have your first smell, and then you have your secondary smell. So your first smell, you actually get a better whiff of the bourbon. Here, hold on a second. I'm just gonna get some bourbon. That way I can really do it. All right, here we go. Yes, that's it. Rolling nose, what's up? So, flip this around. All right, so you have your first and your secondary smell. So, when you have your bourbon glass, bring it down to your chin. And then slowly inhale while you move it up to your nose. Keeping your mouth open a little bit. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get those kind of first aromas that are in there. So swirl a little bit. Oh, you get it. And then your secondary smell is more of like, kind of like if you're huffing it. So you would bring it up to your nose. And then you really get in there. You have to really force yourself to do it. You got to be careful, because if you're using a really high proof bourbon or rye, the alcohol vapors will get up there. They'll make your eyes water a little bit. But over time, you get used to it. So you just kind of get that first, and then you have that secondary smell. And then you can really pull out all of the subtleties in the second, in that secondary smell thing. Oh my gosh. This smells so good. This Blanton's straight from the barrel smells so good. But the other thing is too, is once you smell that bourbon, if you want to reset your senses, then you actually need to smell yourself. So usually smell my sleeve of my clothes, and you're very used to your own scent. And so when you smell yourself or you smell your shirt, it really resets all your senses, grounds you, so you can go back in and you can do it again. Slam the bourbon. It's not that bad. But that's a little nosing trick that you're doing it takes practice to do. If you smell exactly like bourbon, then I'm gonna move by you, and then I'm just gonna hang out with you all the time. But you'll get those secondary smells if you really take a deep inhale. American Whiskey Podcast, what's up, man? It's been a while. I haven't seen you on here for a while. Oh, but I can nose bourbon all night. I need to get one of those nosing kits and do it. What do you guys want me to do? Slam my bourbon? There's like, there's not much in there. Oh, So, Lost, well, you've had this bottle. Me and you have the same one, I believe. It's incredible. It's like one of the more oily, straight from the barrels I've had. Such an oily texture to it. And then it's just everything concentrated. Everything you love about Blanton's, just concentrated. Caramel, just that subtle bit of oak, vanilla. Man. You guys are... that chew. Yeah, I tend to hold everything in my mouth a long time. Usually, I got a little bit left in there. Usually, it's really that second sip that you really get that good taste profile of that bourbon when you're doing it. But sometimes I'll take a sip and I'll sit there and reflect and try to think of what does it make me think of? So we have our descriptors that we all tend to lean on, right? Like oak, vanilla, caramel, things like that. But sometimes I just really like to try to see, what does it remind me of when I taste it? And then why does it remind me of that? It's fun. It's like a time machine. It's like music, listening to music. So it always takes you back. Everyone has it. Yeah, okay, seafood air. It smells the way a perfect day feels. So one thing I've noticed is by doing all these blends, a lot of them aren't really good. And so you have to force yourself to do it. And so it starts to get a little bit, it takes the fun away of ending your day and knowing that you're going to grab yourself a nice pour. But I'll tell you, you're into bourbon, not just because you buy a lot of it, but you're into bourbon when you're in the middle of the day and all of a sudden you think, I really want this tonight. And you know exactly which bottle you want to go to, and you know why you want to go to it, because there's a taste profile in it that is just calling your name that day, and nothing else will do. And you just wait all day long to go home, pull that one specific bottle off the shelf, give yourself a pour, and relax with it. That is how you know you're into bourbon. Zeppelin, because America. All right, guys. So it's been a while. I appreciate those who stuck around. Same time next week, I believe I'll be in town. So appreciate everyone joining. Like I said, these are saved and I put them up on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch it, you're more than happy to do it. Paul Brilia, see ya. All right, guys. Cheers.